If you've been feeling like you need to get the hell up out of here, you're not alone, and this is the video for you.
Picture it. Sicily, 1900. An olive-skinned woman sets sail for the New World.
All right, so maybe I'm not Sophia Petrillo, but I do feel like my story kind of started something similar to this, particularly when it came to solo travel. The year was 1995, and I was a junior in high school. I moved away from home at that time, and it was to help raise my oldest niece. I went from living in Southern California to a small college town in Tuskegee, Alabama. So this one singular experience literally changed the very trajectory of my life, and then what ultimately became the effects of my travel over the years. So what's crazy when I look back on things is I didn't realize that most people don't like to travel solo or alone, or they just don't typically travel without someone being with them. And I didn't realize that this was actually my norm. It has been my norm well before the term solo travel, quote unquote, was termed. And that all came down to that one experience of moving away from home at 15, 16 years old. And so even though that experience technically was not solo travel, it was travel that made me unintentionally realize that I could build relationships and make connections pretty much anywhere that I went. That single experience truly did change the trajectory of the life that will become the one that I have today. So now looking back at all those years, it's really interesting to be able to see that the things that nobody really talks about with the aspects of solo travel, particularly in your 40s, isn't always about escape. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there's definitely times where I'm like, okay, it's time to run away, it's time to get up out of here. But honestly, it's about the return, and the return being returning to yourself. And what I mean by that is what I've noticed with a lot of folks that just either aren't doing solo travel or depending on how they do travel is that by the time that you reach kind of this season of your life in your 40s or kind of whatever generation you're in, but particularly this one, because I can speak to it now, is that you've spent decades of just being responsible. You've showed up, you've held it all together, you've been maybe waiting for the quote unquote right time or the right person to travel with. Now is the right time. But waiting for the right person, you are the right person. Because I'm going to die on the hill that we are in this life for a good time, not a long time. And part of that good time is all the amazing things that travel actually has to offer you. Solo travel, in my opinion, it quietly and not so quietly, a lot of times interrupts that pattern of waiting for the right ... whatever the right thing that you're waiting for is. So a couple of things I want you to think about as you dip your toes into traveling solo or traveling alone is that people don't always tell you that when you travel alone, you don't become lonely. I think you become actually more honest with yourself, because what you start to notice is what you like you, not what everybody else, but like what you actually like. And then also what you don't like. It also helps you to see how fast or how slow you actually want to move. I think a lot of times when we're traveling with other people is that we're operating at their pace, or we're not sure of what the pace should be because we're in a totally different environment. And I think this is a time where you actually just get the opportunity to just be. And particularly as women, regardless of whatever age or stage of life that you're in, it's to try to get to a place where you can solely just exist. Now, I know that that is difficult, particularly when we're talking about the US framework. However, this is where travel becomes gold, because you can go to so many other countries where it actually allows for us as women to just strictly exist. Iceland, for example, one of the safest countries in the world. I think it's the second safest country in the world. I traveled there in 2024, and I remember I had rented a car, parked it in a lot, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. And I've lived in New York, I've lived in DC, I've lived in Philadelphia. And so and just being a woman in the US, where as I'm walking back to the hotel, I had my head on swivel. Why? Because I'm used to having a heightened state of, I gotta be on alert. But I literally had to tell myself, hold on. You actually are in one of the safest countries in the world. So relax. And that was such a foreign concept, considering that we don't get to do that in the States. And just generally as women, we don't get to just exist. But again, the beauty of travel and traveling to various places that actually are far more safe for women than here in our own home country is why we do need to get out and travel, because it allows for us to actually experience something that we may never have experienced before. The other thing is that you stop negotiating your joy. When you have other people, that are part of, let's say, a travel group that's with you or that you're a part of, you are negotiating your joy to a degree. Because again, not knowing the pace of how other people travel, the beauty of travel is that you get to sit in hopefully a place of joy, which means that there's no rushing. There's no compromising that needs to happen. No explaining why you want to sit a little longer or leave a little earlier. Those choices become solely yours. And that's a beautiful thing. That also can be a scary thing too if you're not used to operating in that way. But travel gives you that gift. Solo travel gives you that gift. It is a present to just be present. And then what becomes interesting is that somewhere between unfamiliar streets or quiet mornings, if you haven't had this, confidence and clarity actually start to show up. Again, the beauty with travel is it takes you out of what your norm is, and that coming out of your norm forces your mind to think differently. It allows for clarity to show up because the clouds of distraction of your normal day to day, whatever your normal has been, is no longer in existence when you're traveling, and definitely when you're traveling alone. So it gives you time and space to just sit in the present. And I think the confidence and clarity that comes while you're doing solo travel is that you realize that you can figure things out. You can trust your instincts. You can trust your gut, and you feel capable in a way that just doesn't need validation because you've conquered it by yourself with your skills, knowledge, and ability. And that's a beautiful thing. So traveling alone in your 40s, you don't have to prove anything. It just allows for you to exist. It's remembering who you are when no one else is directing your day. It's just you and the beautiful places and spaces that you'll find yourself in. So I hope that if you have been waiting for the right time, for the right person, maybe if that means for your schedule to clear or just for permission, sometimes I think we don't realize that we might need permission to go do something until someone says you have the permission to go. You can go. You should go. It's your life. It's your schedule. Just go do it. Because why not? Now, it might seem like you need to be fearless in this process, but the reality is actually you don't. You just need to be willing. If it feels scary, it's probably something that you need to go do, and just being willing to do it. So there was a question that I saw someone posted on social media that really hit a lot differently for me. And the question was, what would your days look like if you moved from obligation to desire? Obligation to desire. If you desire travel, but you've been waiting, stop. Our obligations are going to be there when we come back. They're not going to change, but what travel will do is it will change you. So when you come back to whatever your norm has been, that's going to feel different because you're going to have become different. That's the beauty of traveling solo, particularly in your 40s. And then all the amazing people that you're going to meet, food you're going to eat, the sights that you're going to see, the activities you're going to get involved in, all of those things are going to change and transform your life. So you're not that 15, 16-year-old that I was in Tuskegee, Alabama. But that singular experience changed the very trajectory for me. So maybe, just maybe, solo travel might be the thing that changes the very trajectory for you too. And if not, maybe it's just simply a mindset shift. It's the beauty of experiencing and seeing something different and new and fresh. Maybe that's it. So travel with intention. Choose yourself again and again. Because remember, we're in this life for a good time, not a long time. So make it the best time. So this is Simply Worthy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the friendly skies.